that led the president to select him to be the director of the FBI?
Well, after FBI Director James Comey recommended against indicting Hillary Clinton, or charges, that is to say, and considered the investigation into her email over back in July, he was reportedly overwhelmed with resignation requests and regret, according to a close source. Comey's, who spoke to writer Ed Klein, who joins us right now live. His book is called Guilty of as Sin. Ed, nice to have you.
Great to be here.
Okay. So ever since July, apparently the rank and file FBI agents were really deep in inside the
That's how bad it is. Who is an evangelical Catholic who gets down on his knees every night praising God. He has a sense of and the institution.
So if he had a do-over, would he have suggested charges?
I think he would have, because according to my sources, he and his wife, Patrice, who are very, very close, not only in their marriage, but in his professional life. She has been telling him, Jim, you did the wrong thing. You got to redeem yourself somehow. So when he learned about the emails in Anthony Weiner's laptop, he jumped at the chance to reopen this case.
Because two things. One, apparently he had been talking with his wife Patrice, according to your report, that he was depressed, and so many resignation letters from FBI agents were stacking up on his desk. But also the harm he felt that was being done to the FBI.
That's right. Now, he hasn't signed these resignation letters because he's hoping that he can undo the damage. You know, I think one of the interesting things here is that the President of the United States has so politicized the Justice Department that Loretta Lynch has been interfering in this entire investigation from the very, very beginning, and has given Comey a hard time at every step of the way, because the President, the Justice Department are all trying to get Hillary Clinton elected.
Sure. One of our stories today is a Reuters report that apparently Comey revealed that they found, reportedly over 500,000 of these emails on this Weiner laptop. And the day before, on Thursday, Comey met with Lynch. And Lynch said, if you release a letter to Congress that violates policy, longstanding DOJ policy, and then he said, are you ordering me to keep this bombshell secret? And she said nothing.
Yes, and the reason for that is because James Comey has a reputation of threatening to resign if he doesn't get his way. And can you imagine 7 days before the election, if the director of the FBI resigned? I mean, this would throw the entire justice system into complete chaos.
And we opened this segment with some sound bites of Josh Earnest talking glowingly about Director integrity. But in one of your earlier books, didn't Barack Obama regard appointing James Comey as the worst mistake of his life?
The worst mistake of my presidency. Now today, they're coming out and saying, oh no, this guy has got complete integrity. Now the president doesn't want to look as though he's interfering in the election either. Right. So this is a complete mess at the very top of our criminal justice system. I would call it a constitutional crisis in the making at this very moment.
Donald Trump said the same thing. All right, his big bestseller is called Guilty of Sin. Hey, Klein, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
FBI Director James Comey feeling the heat from all over pretty much today in Washington for his decision to publicly notify Congress that he needed to reopen the Clinton email investigation. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley telling Director Comey that he didn't go far enough in explaining what is going on, saying, quote, in the absence of additional authoritative information from the FBI in the wake of your big disclosure, Congress and the American people are left to sift through anonymous leaks from Justice Department officials to craft a very institutions that are so meaningful and crucial in this country. And there is so much loose talk going around about the FBI and about the Department of Justice. But if we try to sort of read through this and figure out whether or not he did the right thing and what comes next, there's another editorial today by William Barr, who was the Attorney General from 1991 to 1993, who argues that Comey, in his mind, did exactly the right thing. He has the opposite viewpoint from Grassley. He says the failure of the Clinton camp to provide all pertinent evidence rendered Comey's July announcement misleading. The FBI's investigation was not comprehensive and not complete, and the conclusions announced by Comey 3 months ago were therefore premature. So he's saying, Richard Fowler, that he had to come forward now because he knows that there is more information than he thought, and they have to go through it. Your thoughts?
This is a problem. This is a problem, Martha, I think, as a Rick. The larger problem that we have here is that this is all against FBI protocol. The FBI never gives status update on pending investigations. It's never done. Right? And the fact that he's just told the water the first time, but now the second tip is even more problematic. And I think this is right. The way that the happened a couple days ago was okay. But I think it caused a lot of questions like the leaks. And you have this side leaking, you have this side leaking. There's leaks all over the place. There's a really bad move. And the American people are left holding the bag. Just 7 days ago for a major election.
William Barr argues, this former Attorney General and agrees with Keith Journal argues that that's not true, that this does not go against FBI policy, and that because his former statement was that they had been through everything, and now he realizes that they have not been through everything, he really has no choice. So he's going to influence something, whether he did it before the election or right after the election, and it is a tight place. I'm sure you would, be the first to admit it if you were at liberty to discuss it, that he's in a tough spot, Rich Lauer.
Right. Well, the public was under the impression that the investigation was closed because the director of the FBI had told Congress that. So that was a misleading impression. It was no longer true. And he felt the obligation to let the public know it was no longer true. Now, to Richard's point, you could argue that he never should have gone down this road in the beginning, in July. He just should have made his recommendations to the Justice Department the way you always do, not comment on anything. But it was, there's such public interest on this, he felt that it couldn't just be a black box.
I mean, there's already so much about this that is so irregular. The fact that there was no grand jury, the fact that witnesses acted as lawyers and sat next to Hillary Clinton during her testimony, Richard Fowler, the fact that there was a promise made to them to destroy their laptop, you have to wonder at this point if Huma Abedin had to wish that she got in on that part of the deal, because hers is still now out there. So there are so many issues with the way that this was handled that it leads people to believe, and voters seem to be responding to that in the polls, that there's something up here, that there was too much political influence on this investigation.
Yeah, and I think the influence goes both ways. Judge Napolitano of Hellyfile said last night that, that's exactly the problem with this whole entire investigation. There's way too much information being put out there. Nobody should have known about the immunity. Nobody should have known about the fact that people were asked to destroy laptops or not destroy laptops. And let's be very clear. In the affidavit that was sent for the search warrant did not include Hillary Clinton at all. The search warrant was mainly involving, the affidavit was mainly involving Huma Abedin and not Hillary Clinton. And we don't know if these emails are duplicated. We don't know what these emails are. Martha, you don't know. Rich, you don't know. And I don't know. And now the American voters don't know, which was the Clinton campaign is saying. They deserve the right to know, whether you're a Trump voter, a Hillary voter, or an independent. Every American, now that Comey has stepped his foot into politics, they deserve the right to know.
Democrats nominated someone with this legal exposure who's under FBI investigation. This is why it's been a norm honored through most American history. You don't nominate for president someone under FBI investigation because very bad things are going to happen. It's going to put the FBI in a possible situation.
Rich, your last word was the last word, so now we've got another last word, now we really have to go. Thank you very much, you guys. Give us the ability.
CNN cutting ties with Donna Brazile, the DNC chair. This after it was revealed that she leaked a question to the Clinton camp ahead of a CNN town hall during this past primary season. In a statement from the network, CNN says we're completely uncomfortable with what we had learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign while she was a CNN contributor, end quote. There's more to that. Howie Kurtz is going through that now. Host of Media Buzz. Howie, good morning to you. How deep does a scar like this run when a network is exposed to this?
Well, look, this whole episode has tarnished Donna Brazil, has tarnished the network that she betrayed, and also in a way tarnishes all of us in the media because there's so much suspicion out there about whether we're too cozy or colluding with the Clinton campaign. CNN hasn't helped itself by the way that it has handled this, which is to say poorly.
Okay, now Joe Concha, media writer for TheHill.com, said this about what's happening inside CNN and what should happen based on his expectation.
CNN, and I called for this a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to do it again, needs to absolutely conduct an internal investigation by an outside firm to see where this cancer exists.
As you want to figure out who's talking to whom and how the information gets out. Is this the right next move, Howard?
Yeah, but that's not even enough. CNN does need to investigate this because it goes to the heart of its credibility as a network. But let's review for a moment. First story about Donna Brazil leaking a question in advance to the Clinton campaign. And CNN didn't even sort of come out and condemn it. It kind of deflected the attention to its partner, TV One, saying the leak must have come from there. Now, and then, more than 2 weeks ago, CNN basically forced Donna Brazil out. Officially, it's been called a resignation, but didn't say a word publicly about it. Apparently more concerned with protecting his image than being transparent. You know, we always, when politicians get in trouble, we always say, well, they can answer the questions, they should be transparent. And CNN President Jeff Zucker needs to address this publicly. Needs to find out in the second instance, there's no partner, somebody in CNN gave her the question because she has questions pretty much verbatim. And needs to take some steps to explain how this happened, who's responsible, and why it didn't happen.
I peel back the curtain just a little bit. You know, debate prep often is done in a quarantine nature. I know Chris Wallace, when he did the last debate, he worked with 2 people on his staff, and that was it. And they spoke to no one on the outside. When we were on the debate prep during the primary season, we would work with 2 others on staff and the system. So we did with 5 in a row for the final 2 days prior to the debate happening. So it keeps it restricted in terms of information, Howie, and the topics, perhaps, and most specifically, the questions that will be chosen.
Right, you can't have gossiping newsrooms as part of the process. It has to be kind of off in a separate silo. And why is that important? Because we all, whatever the network, we all are sort of telling the American people and the viewers that nobody knows the questions in advance, that both politicians or a bunch of politicians, that the primary debate, you know, are all on equal footing. But here's the built-in problem. CNN was paying Donna Brazil as a contributor. She since went on leave because of becoming acting DNC chair. While she was vice chair of the Democratic National Committee, that created a built-in sort of conflict of loyalties that she apparently decided to resolve in favor of helping the Hillary Clinton campaign, even while Hillary was still running against Bernie Sanders. Now, we all the networks have Democratic and Republican strategists who we expect to consult with the campaigns and come on and spin on behalf of their candidates. This is very different. It's giving confidential information, and CNN really has a need here, because I think CNN to some degree has been unfairly tarnished, to explain how this happened, who's responsible, and to try to
The final point to be made here, this was a town hall, so you were involving voters into the process too. And you have to figure out what's out on their mind, and you would not do that at the last minute. Those voters and those questions would be prearranged, which makes the door even wider.
Right, and it's not a shock. The second example, the town hall was in Flint, Michigan. The questions were going to be about the tainted water supply there. But Donna Brazil told the Clinton folks that a particular woman who had a rash was going to make a very personal case. And, you know, it's good. It arms a candidate to have a more prepared response than if that comes out of the blue. But you're right. These town halls are very well orchestrated. So only a select group of people should know that in advance. Maybe somebody who's part of the Democratic Party shouldn't be in that group. But there was a reason.
Howie, thank you. Howard Kurtz, we'll see where it goes, and we'll see the effect of this after the election. Thank you, sir. 7 days to go.
What difference at this point does it make? 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 Difference at this point. Difference at this point. Difference at this point does it make? Difference at this point. Difference at this point. Difference at this point does it make? What difference does it make?
They won't like me for saying that. 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 Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out. Get him out of here. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out of here. Forget about those people. They great deals. They great deals. Yeah. They great deals. So look, isn't it crazy? Isn't it ridiculous? Crazy, ridiculous. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it ridiculous? Crazy, ridiculous. Pups. Ridiculous. Pups. 10 feet higher. The wall just got 10 feet higher. That's right, 10 feet higher. I said the wall just got 10 feet higher. 10 feet higher. The wall just got 10 feet higher. 10 feet higher. I said the wall just got 10 feet higher. I'm building a wall. 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 Kill that 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 wall. Could be Trump. Yeah. Trump. Oh yeah. Trump. 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 Could be Trump. Yeah. Trump, oh yeah. Trump, could be Trump. Yeah. Trump, oh yeah. Trump, could be Trump. Yeah. Trump, oh yeah.
Alright, are you guys on the Trump train? This is the News Tube. If you're here at the News Tube, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Don't forget, we're doing live streaming here every day up until Election Day, so you don't want to miss what's happening. Breaking news. We're covering it here at the News Tube. God bless you all for being here tonight, or today. And we will be back. We have to keep this in short segments, so we do cut it off, and then we'll be right back online in about 5 to 10 minutes. So keep your bookmark here at the News Tube, and we'll be back in just a little bit. And by the way, we do play all kinds of great jams, so make sure that you share this on your social networks. If you like the music and you like all the little clips that we kind of intersperse in between commercial breaks, make sure that you share it with all your friends. All right, we'll see you in just a little bit. here, live, waiting for Trump. Donald Trump will be here in just a little bit. The live Michigan rally that's taking place. Warren, Michigan. Oops. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of background feedback there. Make sure I can get all my sounds on here. Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd. Wow, that's amazing. The crowds are huge. Trump is filling up stadiums. Amazing to see how many people are here. This is a huge crowd.